is the TeamClearCoat podcast. We're two friends finally doing something about our obsession with cars.
We're probably not doing it well, but it should be fun, and we might actually learn something along the way. I'm Dave.
And I'm Ian, and this is our show.
Ian,
Hello, Dave.
how are you doing, buddy?
I'm great. You know what? I'm excellent.
Are you?
Yes, because it is my favorite time of the millennium.
Is that Will I Am's millennium?
Will Smith's millennium. Come on.
The millennium? What's
The
the
millennium?
the winter?
That was the song from something. I don't know. Whatever. Wild Wild West, maybe? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It was stupid. I don't even know why I said that. But no, it is a good time of. It's not the year because the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, are happening.
They are?
Yes, they are.
Okay, all right.
It's everyone's least favorite Olympics, except for mine, because it gives me the opportunity that I get once every 4 years to talk about my former sport.
Yeah, your former sport.
Yeah,
Ski jumping.
the ski jump.
Ski jumping.
And
You come from a long line of ski jumpers.
correct.
Yes, you've actually flown through the air
Yeah,
on skis.
poorly. I was pretty bad at it. But
Okay.
yeah, it's fun. I get to actually I'll see people on Twitter asking questions about it, and I'm like, oh well,
I know
I
that
could be helpful.
I saw one of your tweets where you were talking about the line. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the whole thing with where the lines are, and
I have to
everything
fix
else.
your headphone cable. It's bothering me.
What's wrong with
There's
it?
like a curl in it, and I'm fixing it live on the show.
Why?
There we go. Hi, I'm back. Because ADD brain was transfixed on your headphone cable.
Let me fix them.
Yeah. Well, there's $1. We'll get
Okay.
to that later.
Anyway.
Yeah. So you can talk about ski jumping.
Yeah, I get to talk about ski jumping, and you know, I think a lot of people just think of it as this crazy thing that you just shove kids down a massive Olympic-sized ski jump, and it's just not how it happens. You start with a little bump, and you go up from there.
Okay.
And I'm going to come back to that thought.
Oh, okay.
When we talk about our other big talk about in a minute.
Oh, sure.
But yeah. So if you have questions about ski jumping, hit me up on Twitter. I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, we have a car show.
I know, but it does bring me. So go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say real quick, ski jumping. I don't watch any Winter Olympics, but ski jumping is easily the most bananas thing you can watch on TV. It's a person flying through the air.
Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
and you know what? The Winter Olympics are great. The downhill racing is super crazy. They do 90 miles an hour. Skeleton is
right. That's the one where they go
awesome.
on a luge face first.
Face
right?
first.
That's insane. And if they crash, their suits will melt to their skin. Right.
Yeah, I want to do that. I really, 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 really do.
Okay.
I love that. I love obviously the ski jumping.
Right.
Is great. Some of the cross country races are really crazy bonkers. There was one earlier today that was insane.
Okay.
The guy got knocked down and almost, I think he almost won or won. It was crazy.
Okay. Drama on the cross country ski course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's genuinely exciting racing.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I like the Olympics.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
But it does bring me, and I am going to bring it back to cars, mostly because I had to. Car show.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I'm making you do this, Ian. Yeah.
No, I'm going to bring it back to cars.
Okay.
With an FMK Cars.
FMK Cars is a game that Ian and I play on the show. It's that classic game, Fuck, Marry, Kill, but we put a little twist on it. We play it with cars instead of people because we're not horrible, awful people like a bunch of other people in the world, which we are not. We're nice.
Okay,
So
we got that
anyway,
part. Let's keep going.
F means you
Drive it for a day.
hit it and quit it. M means you.
Marry it. Put a ring on it.
That's right. It's your new daily driver. K means you kill it.
You just crush it.
Die, kitty, die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We got a lot to get through today.
Okay.
Let's go. So this one is called Harder, Better, Faster, Synergy-er.
Daft Punk with 30 Rock, I
Yes.
guess? Okay. All right. Go on.
Olympics car tie-ins
Okay. Oh, okay.
with a Winter Olympics twist. So in
Okay.
this one, you're going to get, and I gave you links already,
Oh, okay.
and I think they are not in order.
Okay,
if you
so they're
just-
backwards?
flip those two.
Okay,
They'll be in
all right.
order. No, the other way. The other way.
The other way? Okay. All
Other
right.
way. Yep. There
okay,
we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, that's everybody's favorite part of the podcast is adjusting browser
I
tabs.
Point at the
Oh.
point at the thing you can't see. No, get off that one. Get off
Okay,
that one.
okay,
Okay.
all right.
All right. So we're gonna go. So this one you're gonna get a car that was a branding tie-in
Okay.
from a sponsor of the Olympics.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's a special edition that was done.
Sure.
And you're gonna get a sport that you have to train for and then actually do.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And it's more that you have to live with the training regimen.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you have to attempt the sports. You don't have to
Right,
be good at it.
Right. I figured the training regimen and that commitment was the twist.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So the first one
Okay.
is the 2012 Mini Cooper D London 2012 edition, and it's basically a Mini Cooper.
Okay.
To be fair, a really pretty cool graphics package. Like it's like the London, it's supposed to be like the London
The
skyline
London-
or whatever.
Okay.
And then there's some stuff in the interior and everything, and it's like a limited edition
Okay.
thing that they did
Okay.
in England. But they have like Union Jack stitching and stuff,
Uh-huh.
which is pretty cool.
Okay. All right.
But the
What is my sport?
The sport is skeleton.
Oh, okay.
So you
All
have
right.
to train for skeleton,
Uh-huh.
and you have to actually do it
So
at least once.
is the training we should pull up an image of skeleton.
Yeah.
Is the training of skeleton just holding a loaded gun in your mouth for 4 hours a day?
Well, I'm guessing it's a ton of core,
Uh-huh.
and then just
Right.
tons and tons of like explosive leg
Pants
training.
shitting. Right.
Pants
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Skeleton racing.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah. All
Honestly,
right.
it looks. I think
Yeah.
that's the coolest looking thing ever. I think it looks so cool.
Okay. All right.
I really
So
wanna do it.
between me pretending I'm Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon when he goes to his trailer at the end of every day and holds a loaded gun in his mouth and doing tons of core and leg work, which I am core and legs. That's basically waist down is where all my muscles are.
Yeah, I mean, you
just
probably have
my-
to have some
my-
for.
Yeah. Well, the sleds are probably carbon fiber, so my little cycling T-Rex arms will do well.
True.
Ah,
True.
Right.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay.
So the next one, 1984
Oh. Okay.
Buick Century Olympia.
What?
Yeah. So.
Oh, Ian, why
it's
would
this.
I want a Buick Century?
Well,
Thank you, carandriver.com for the image.
Yeah. It was a special thing that they did for the Los Angeles Olympics.
Okay. all right.
And there's not a ton of special things about it, but it comes with a special hood ornament, fender, you get some badges, gold pinstriping,
Okay.
a trunk-mounted luggage rack,
Okay.
and some other some logos on the interior with the Olympic rings and stuff like that.
I'm all about a trunk-mounted luggage rack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're 100.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What's my sport, bitches?
your sport is
Uh-huh.
curling.
Oh. Okay. All right.
So I don't know if it's mandatory that you start drinking beer, but it might be.
Right. Right.
But not
Yeah.
as much of a training regimen. Probably some core,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
some balance stuff,
Yeah.
but not a ton. Probably.
Right. Right. It's probably just hours and hours of muscle memory over and
Right.
that's probably
Right.
something you
But
train
again,
for like
it's
10
not-
hours a day.
It's not required that you become good at this sport.
Right, right.
It's more that you have to have the training
Right.
regimen of someone that is.
I think given my mental state, like if you say like you have to train for something,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to just blow it off. I would like get obsessed with it and have to like and go
Yeah.
all in on it.
I feel like you would hate curling.
I don't think so.
Really?
No, I think it's really cool.
Well, I guess there's that spatial element
yeah,
to it.
Yeah,
You might like
yeah.
that.
yeah.
I just feel like you would think it was boring.
No, I don't think so. So there's this weird thing like that I have mentally that I learned that I have when I was in welding class in college, where like part of me could just kind of check out and like I could lay down like really decent beads of weld,
Yeah.
and I was like kind of half there, half not. You ever get that way? Like you're cutting like a really long line with a circular saw, you know?
That never happens.
or like some kind of task like that, right? Where it's like
driving.
it's one exact thing.
Driving.
And you're halfway.
That's it.
Well, you're halfway in, halfway out. You're
Yeah.
very focused when you drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird thing. Yeah, and I wonder if I would be like that with the broom, you know,
Mm-hmm.
when I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I give it a try. Okay. All right, but I'd have to deal with a Buick, Ian.
Yeah.
God damn it.
All right. So the next
Okay.
one.
Uh-huh.
So obviously none of these cars have been great so far.
Right.
It's about to change.
It is.
2014 Volkswagen Amarok Polar Expedition, which was a thing they did for the Sochi Olympics.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's-
Okay.
It's
Holy crap. Okay.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, no, that
It's
looks
pretty
amazing.
great.
Yeah.
It's pretty boss, right?
That looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think whenever you deal with a lifted vehicle,
Yeah.
the smaller the vehicle that goes on a lift, the
Mhm.
better it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Right? Yeah, like a lifted Mini Cooper, I mean that almost looks like a Tiguan.
Yeah. Oh, it's the
Amarok.
yeah,
Amor-
the what do you call it? Pick 'em up truck.
Oh,
See, that's a roll bar in the
yeah,
back.
it is. Wow. Okay.
The Amarok is the pickup truck that
Did
we
they
do
even
not get
sell
here.
that here? Okay, I was
no,
gonna
no.
say, yeah.
No.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, they did that for the Sochi Olympics, which is perfect. I love that all the other branding exercises, special editions for
Right.
the Olympics are all just like you get some graphics,
Right,
and maybe
right.
some stitching,
Right.
From really, if we're going maybe
A
some of them
hood
do like
ornament.
special wheels or
Right,
whatever.
right.
But for the Russians,
Yeah, yeah.
you get this monstrosity.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Which, if you're listening to this and not watching it on YouTube, you need to look this thing up. The Volkswagen Amarok Polar Expedition from 2014.
Yeah.
Anyway, so your twist is ski jumping.
Okay.
Also, I'm your coach.
Okay. All right. And you tried to add you being my coach as a negative.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't done it in 15 years, and I wasn't good at it when I did it.
What's the longest you've ever sailed through the air?
I think in practice I did probably like 65-ish meters.
That's
one time.
insane.
Yeah, but it was like on a and I always choked in the competitions. I was always
Okay.
terrible in competition. But that was on like a hill that was slightly smaller, just slightly smaller than the normal hill in the Olympics.
Okay.
So
okay.
the normal hill in the Olympics is usually 90 meter, and I was on like an 85 meter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're flying that far through the air, what's the distance between you and the ground approximately?
It's
Like
different with every hill,
right, right.
but not that high usually.
Right.
Like, there were some hills that I jumped. There was one hill that I jumped that was like the takeoff was like over 15 feet in the air.
Okay.
And it really like shot you out.
Oh, okay. So
shot you
so
up.
you had to catch up to the hill, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
That hill was pretty wild. But like a lot of them were like you're only a couple feet off the ground.
Right. Yeah. I was wondering just how much you'd be like your trajectory would be following
Yeah,
ground that
that's
was
the
not
idea.
that far below you.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're doing
okay.
like 60 miles an hour.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway,
Not-
answer the question, sir. I'll ask the questions.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to have to kill the Buick, because it's a Buick Century.
Yeah,
and
but it's the easiest training regimen of all of them.
it is. But I kind of want to get into it, Ian.
Okay,
I kind of
all
kind of want to dive in.
Okay, I thought I was going to tempt you with that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then I think I will F the Mini Cooper
Oh.
and Skeleton,
Okay.
and I will marry
Uh-huh.
the Berserker VW,
Yeah.
and you being my ski jump coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So what is ski jumping like? A lot of squats and explosive core.
Yeah. Explosive stuff, but like
Yeah.
also just being absurdly skinny.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't really have. Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, I carry a lot of weight in my legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine, but you
Yeah.
just got to be super skinny.
Yeah.
Anyway, Anyway, so that was my excuse to bring up ski jumping on our.
Will it give me a chance to like when I like hit the air, like go like this, like, you know?
No.
I want to do that.
You can't if you.
I want to be like the Rocketeer. Ian, can I have like a Art Deco helmet and just?
Sure, you can have an Art
Yeah.
Deco helmet.
Okay.
Deal. So which one does ski jumping seem scarier or does skeleton seem scarier?
Skeleton seems scarier.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think
I think that's probably accurate.
Yeah, I think it's that thing where the closer you are to the ground, I think it seems faster and more terrifying.
Right.
Right?
But I don't know, do you have like a frame I don't know this is a question I always had
Sure,
about skeleton.
sure.
Like I wonder if you have that much frame of reference for how fast you're going.
True.
Because you're just like looking at ice.
Right, exactly. There's no like real markers to pick up on other than the turn.
And you're so
But then the
I'm guessing you're
turn
so
is-
focused on
Right.
what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that.
Right?
It's not
Yeah.
like you're like dodging things.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not Mario Kart.
Right. It would be like if like a racetrack was just painted like matte white and like
Right.
and there was like no shadows or
Right.
cracks to determine braking zones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I've always wondered that.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, it'd be like driving in a whiteout almost.
Mhm.
Yeah. Weird. Yeah. I like that, Ian. I like that.
Thank you.
Let's see. What do you want to talk about, buddy?
Up to you. What
Okay.
do next?
So, well, first of all, I want to tell you thank you. I want to tell you thank you. Like a legit thank you because I think you've been doing some really great work on the internet lately.
On the internets.
Yeah, on the internet. So, after we had our interview in episode 125 with Alanis King, 126, 125, something
Yeah.
like that. We talked about women in car culture, a lot of the bullshit that women have to deal with being in car culture or the barriers for basically anybody but an old fat white man getting into cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so since we had that interview, F1 came out and officially said that they would not have grid girls in the 2018 season, and the internet lost its fucking mind.
Yeah.
And what you did was just go, you're a dick, you're a dick, you're a dick. Oh, here's why you're a dick. Here's why you're a dick. Here's irrefutable proof as to why you're a dick. And you just started fucking patrolling the internet and kicking ass and taking names.
All right. Well, a couple of things. So, first of all, I did not call anyone a dick directly.
Directly. But you pointed out a lot of dumb shit that people think.
Well, because
Yeah.
there was a lot of dumb
Yeah,
shit around.
exactly. No.
But also, I just want to say, like, how perfectly TeamClearCoat is it that we would
Yes.
have an interview that we've been trying to get, like, kind of coordinate, like how we were
Right.
gonna, we were coordinating schedules, and then we were
Yes.
also, kind of trying to figure out how we could have this conversation
Right.
about women in car culture,
Right.
with a woman journalist.
Yes.
And we finally get it done, and then the biggest story in that arena happens 24 hours after we record the interview. But
and
before
you go out of town.
but before we are going to actually post the interview.
Yes.
So
yes.
now we just look like morons. It's just of course.
We don't look like morons.
Of
Ian.
course that was what was going to happen.
People don't see the timing of the events in
Yeah.
history, but they see you calling out dumb shit on the internet.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So as far as calling out dumb shit on the internet, I really don't want to be the person who does that.
Right. No.
But because nobody likes them, and also it's just I have other better things to do.
True.
But I felt like the thing.
Yeah.
The response to it was so unbelievably disappointing.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And I felt like, and also I kept seeing women getting dragged
Yeah.
by all of these idiots who were upset about the decision, and I didn't want them to feel like they were on their own, because
Right.
it kind of felt like it in a lot of areas that I was seeing, especially we were starting to get more involved with Drive Tribe again a little bit.
Yeah.
And they're mostly it's mostly a British audience there, and I mean the language and like the reaction to the decision was just horrendous.
Yeah, it was awful.
Really bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. People
Yeah.
were really upset that the women that they felt the women being used as objects that they felt they were entitled to were being taken away from them.
Right. Right. And the thing that I kept telling people was that nobody owes you hot chicks. Like, you were not owed
Right.
the ability to look at things
Right.
that
Right.
bring you pleasure. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
And I don't know, do you want to run through some of the arguments that people were going
Yes,
through?
yes,
Some of the
let's do it.
rationalizations that
Yes,
people had and
yes.
why they're all dumb?
Yes. Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. So let's start with the most prevalent one that I kept seeing that drove me crazy bonkers,
Okay.
which was, and this is where my Venn diagram comes in,
Yes.
where people were saying that you were either depriving the grid girls of their choice
Of
or
job, yeah.
or well, no, just it was just saying like no, it was like it was supposed to be like a gotcha thing for feminism to be
Gotcha.
like, oh, women can have any choice that they want as long as it's not being a grid girl.
Right.
Or the jobs thing. Oh, we're taking now you're taking jobs away from women.
Right.
Or any number of iterations of that basic line of reasoning. So that was one major tree. So let's talk about that one first.
Sure.
So that one is dumb because it kind of it kind of is predicated on the idea that in the beginning there was F1 and there were no grid girls.
Right.
And the heads of F1, the benevolent men of F1,
Right.
looked upon their front office only to find it littered with hungry and starving and jobless women who were all amazingly hot. And they were begging. Please let us hold umbrellas.
Right.
And they did give them jobs.
Right. They were such wonderful benefactors.
Right. It was a benevolent.
Yeah, benevolent. That was the word I was trying to find. Yeah.
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 It was all in good faith. It was
Right.
a jobs program.
Right. Exactly.
And now we've ended it because of political correctness.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and the thing is that obviously that is everyone's main concern here.
Right.
Which is why that's all we hear about from motoring enthusiasts.
Right.
Is the women is female unemployment rate.
Exactly.
Just constantly.
They won't stop harping on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Right.
So the other one
The
other one was basically like had a couple of different flavors to it, but it all kind of was like talking about how it was either all about the fashion of the
Yep.
locality, or it was glamour,
Right.
just very generalized glamour
Right.
of F1. And again, I am sympathetic to this one because my favorite part of every pre-race program, because I like to watch the Sigh coverage, which falls off the internet truck in my house.
In front of your house on a thumb drive.
But the internet truck drops that off, and I watch the pre-race shows.
Right.
And I have for years.
Right.
And my favorite part of every show has been when they spend, it's usually about an hour and a half of coverage. They spend at least 45 minutes covering the designers.
Yes, exactly.
Of the
latest trends.
Yeah.
Right.
For the girls'
Yep.
costumes, they cover the designer.
Yep.
And then they go through an entire sartorial history of the region.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
It's
all
amazing.
of the relevant trends of the region, right? All of those vectors, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Basically fashion anthropology. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So
that's such a great part of every race.
It's my favorite part.
Spoiler alert, nobody's talked about that shit ever.
Right.
Ever.
And so that's why, like, when you think about, why is this the first time that I'm hearing all these rationalizations, is because they are rationalizations.
Right.
Those are the arguments
Yes.
made by the people who know that saying, oh, but I like the hot girls.
Right. I just want to stare at boobs.
Right. They know that is not acceptable to say.
Right. Right.
And so they have to come up with another
Right.
thing. And maybe they're trying to convince themselves as well or whatever it is, but that's what that's about.
Right.
And that is it.
Right.
You know, it's just really rich that all of a sudden
right.
that's
now
what
they're
we're concerned
suddenly
about.
concerned about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I made a little Venn diagram
Yeah.
to illustrate that point. I don't know, do we have that?
I can pull it up on
Do we have
Drive
it?
Tribe if you keep yapping.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the other thing too was what's the other one that was driving me crazy? The other argument that I kept hearing.
It wasn't.
There it is, right there.
It wasn't like. I mean, I think you had a good discourse with our buddy Nick about a good discussion with our buddy Nick about like what's the difference between grid girls and cheerleaders, right?
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know the answer to that completely because that is a tough one.
Right.
Because this was my thing. F1 fans, fashion enthusiasts, and experts.
Right.
In the the modeling job market.
Yes.
And the nexus of the intersection of all that is where the hot takes live.
Yep. But yeah, so cheerleaders, you were saying that, well, I mean, besides cheerleading being like a crazy athletic event where there's competition, there's male cheerleaders as well. There's this an entire systemized institution of competition for that that occupation or that that pursuit,
right,
versus grid girls.
So, first, let me say one thing because I saw a couple other examples being brought up in the same context as the cheerleading argument was brought up.
Sure.
Like I saw people, Tiff Nadell actually, which was super disappointing.
See, and that's one of the things is that we're being disappointed by a lot of people in car culture right now. Because of their shitty opinions on this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But Tiff Nadell said something about how, I mean, he tried out all of the arguments, so it's kind of hard to just pick one dumb one. But one of the dumb ones that he picked out was the idea that we're not going to have we won't be able to have fashion runway models anymore because they also show too much skin. And I think the fact that some men are pointing to cheerleaders or fashion models or any of these any other pick it
right.
whatever other example that they were pointing at kind of gives away the game because they're basically saying that the only thing that matters about all of those things
right.
is that they enjoy looking at them.
Right, that they're scantily clad.
Or not even that, just that they enjoy it.
Right.
And so that must mean that it's bad and must be need to be taken away.
Right.
And with fashion models, that is 100% not the point. Nobody cares if Tiff Nadell finds them attractive. That's great if he does, but he doesn't, one, need to make it anyone else's problem.
Right.
And two, it wasn't the point of it.
Right.
The point of it is to show off the clothes of whatever designer.
Right.
And all of a sudden now we're all fashion experts.
Right.
And we don't care about this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what that argument is really about. Now, back to the cheerleading thing.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure there's issues in the fashion and modeling world, but that's not really my lane. I have really no expertise or opinion on it.
Sure.
And same thing in cheerleading. Like, there are definite issues that somebody who's closer to it needs to work through. I'm sure.
Yes.
But again,
because I think that does fall on a sliding scale of objectification.
Yeah.
Right. Not to the polar end that grid girls are. Yeah. But it's there. It's on the spectrum. Yeah.
And again, the objectification and sexuality and all that stuff is definitely part of all of the stew.
Yeah.
That's around us, right? It's what we're all swimming in.
Right.
And it's part of everything. Of course it is. But I think when it's the only reason that you're that you're doing something, then you need to figure out if that's an appropriate time and place to do that.
Right.
And I don't think a Formula One race is, especially since we're struggling to grow the sport.
Right.
And all these other things. And the last point I want to make about this is that is the also false framing of it that people who are upset are giving of it, which is that somehow it's a choice being made by fans for grid girls or by feminists for grid girls.
Right.
When in reality, this was a business decision,
right,
made by a business,
right,
who have looked at the stew swimming around them,
right,
and a large part of the stew swimming around them is Me Too, and also
Time's Up,
Time's Up, but also they are being their mandate, their whole reason that they bought F1 was to grow the sport.
Grow the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do we make it appealing to half the population?
Right. When, as Alanis King said on her Twitter feed, when she was breaking down another fool, was that that Grid Girl's presence is basically interpreted as men belong in the driver's seat,
right,
women belong on the sidelines holding umbrellas.
Right.
Right. So F1 wants to change that.
Right. And I have a lot of other thoughts on this that I want to focus on in another episode, because I think there's another piece to it, but that we'll get into later. But there's obviously it's a complicated issue when you start talking about some of the other roles that attractive people fill, especially on an F1 grid.
Right.
But this one in particular seems just so cut and dry and obvious, and it's clearly the wrong thing.
Right.
And it seemed like an obvious thing.
Right.
To me. I don't know.
I think that this kind of I feel a lot of reverberations in this argument that I felt in November when 45 was elected, right? Because it wasn't so much that Hillary won the popular vote and Twimp didn't. It was the quantity of votes that he actually did get, right? And so I understand that his message, or lack thereof, is always going to resonate with a certain quantity of individuals that live in the United States, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to see the quantity of people that reverberated with enough to vote for him, that was the disappointing thing in the November election, right? Because we're never going to be able to completely stamp out racism, homophobia, xenophobia, all of that stuff, misogyny. We're never going to be able to get rid of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We as humans are infallible, and we're going to continue doing shitty stuff.
We're fallible.
Right. Fallible. Thank you. We're not infallible. Right. But the quantity was the thing that really made my knees buckle, right? And I feel this way, obviously less visceral about the Grid Girl stuff, but because misogyny is the main issue with this, and objectification. But I mean, obviously that was just one of the fucking thousands of ingredients that was in the November election.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that the quantity of individuals that have these fucking awful hot takes, the quantity of people that are upset about this is really disappointing to me when it comes to being a proud member of the automotive enthusiast community, right?
I completely agree. And it's not like I totally agree, because
I'm just putting a $5 bill in the thing because
I should do it too. Yeah.
There's going to be politics on the show.
But I was looking at some of the online polls that, like some of the F1 sites and Drive Tribe had, and some other places, and it was insane. It was like 80-20
right
at best
for people that wanted them to stay or wanted
them to stay.
So 80% wanted them to stay.
Yes.
Fuck me.
Yeah. And it was just
Come
like
on,
the
man. Come on,
the
dude.
number of people actually saying so, and the other thing that was disappointing wasn't just Tiff Needell being an idiot about it, which was really was that was
hurt.
That was disappointing, because
he's a smart guy.
He's a smart guy and he's awesome, but
He's a great driver.
Apparently a bit of a knuckle dragger when it comes to this sort of stuff. But also a lot of the other kind of Formula One celebrity types, acting like it was a complicated issue that they didn't want to wade into, like actively avoiding talking about it.
Yeah.
Which is just as much of a cop-out and not, you know, this is what we talk about. This is what we mean when we talk about car culture needing some level of introspection.
Yeah.
And, you know, what I said earlier about, you know, there's all these elements in the stew that we all swim around in.
Right.
And to some extent, I feel like car culture has been insulated from having to look at that stuff and it's been like this perpetuating thing. And a lot of cultures like this, where because it wasn't very diverse,
right,
especially within little subcultures,
right,
there was no need to, or people felt there wasn't a need to,
right,
and so that made them more insular,
right,
and made
it just became more and more of an echo chamber,
and built fewer incentives to examine those
You're
things.
exactly right, yeah.
But it's when, and this is the thing that I always think about when I have conservative friends that would say that the country got more racist when Obama was elected, and it wasn't that he was racist or anything like that, and it's not that people with who ascribe to feminism are anti-men when they point these things out in motorsport. It's that they're just going, hey, look at that part,
right?
Look at that. We should probably talk about that,
right.
And if you've had the luxury of never having to think about that stuff before, then it becomes then it's difficult.
Right. It's jarring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can be upsetting. And like Alanis said, you know, you can get defensive.
Right.
And I think that's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
I just wish more people were a little bit more open to hearing about some of it. You know?
Right.
But yeah.
I think what we're dealing with is like, remember the overwhelming majority of white men that voted for Roy Moore, right? Like it was a staggering percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I mean, like I feel like that's what the automotive community is, right? It's like, you know, like we need more diversity in the automotive community to shake this shit up, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely part of it. Yeah, I don't know. I was really disappointed in our hobby.
Yeah, right.
I was super bummed. Which is why I got angry and started arguing with strangers on the internet, which is never productive.
It's not, but you were doing good work.
Yeah.
And I always love it when you basically make someone on the internet say uncle, because you did a couple times when they say, I couldn't care less, bye. Well, you actually took the time to write a whole bunch of shit and then respond. And then nope, I'm gonna control this discussion and go home. Bye.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my So
how about you fucking stick around, buddy?
So
Let's
there
see
was
this
one.
through.
There was one on Drive Tribe where it was
on this.
Was it?
Yeah.
Or was it? I can't remember where it was.
Yeah.
It was on something, but I said something kind of just stating my view on it.
Right.
And then someone replied to me.
Right.
I wasn't replying to anyone else. I was just stating my opinion, and then they replied to me. And then I walked them to, oh, well, I don't really care that much about it.
Right.
You know? So I was just taking each argument.
Uh-huh.
Nope.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you have a real knack for that. I think you have a real talent for when somebody is confronting you with some shittiness, that you have this really unique ability to kind of like put what they're telling you in like these little Tupperware bins and be like, look, this is the thing you just said, right? This is why this doesn't make any sense. Now let's look at this bin over here.
I think what I'm good at when it comes to arguing with people is I'm good at hurting.
Yeah,
I'm good at like
you draw a fence.
I'm good at like hurting them into them saying something.
Right. What they're really getting at.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I am good at that.
Yeah. You are.
But it's probably not the best thing to be doing with my time to be doing on the internet. but it's fun sometimes.
I appreciate the work you've been doing because I think when you were doing that stuff on the show, you were speaking with the true voice of the show.
Okay.
And you were representing us more than we've ever been represented on the internet.
All right.
In a more true voice.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have seen how you argue on the internet, so I'm glad I was the one doing that.
Yeah, I'm not good at it. I'm just like,
Dave gets very emotional and angry. You get
very quickly.
You know, do you remember the Kanye thing from like years and years ago where he was like, "I just typed this so hard I broke my MacBook."
That's me.
Dave on the internet.
That's me. Yeah.
That's great.
I basically just want to find the person, snap their phone in half, and then rub it into their face. And be like, "You did this. You did this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Meanwhile, I just picture you with like 2 fingers of whiskey, just like swirling it and just going, "All right, the game is afoot."
Well, I mean, that's not what happens.
Well, I'm like Luther, the anger translator. Y'all motherfuckers need to cut that shit out.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I am not a Muslim.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, I can't thank you enough for the work that you did because it's fantastic and it represents the show in the best light. So
okay. All right. Well, if you if you are listening to this and you are upset about the Grid Girls decision, please don't let us know that.
Right.
No, if you think you have a compelling argument, I would love to hear it.
Right.
Because I have yet to hear one.
Right.
I've heard all of the ones I've heard are garbage. They're hot garbage. And very easily disassembled.
Right.
Yeah. If you want to come at me with any sort of job related thing, I want to see hard Wayback Machine, internet Wayback Machine evidence of you giving a shit about this.
Yeah.
At least 3 years ago.
Right, exactly. You are like the
I'm gonna need to see receipts, motherfucker.
What's the main guy in Scooby Doo that wears the neckerchief and what's his name?
I don't remember.
But basically, you just like these internet monsters come at you, and you just pull their mask off and just go misogynist, racist.
Oh, you want to see hot chicks?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, right.
Okay,
Turns out it was just a creepy fucker the whole time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Jinkies.
Oh, we've seen you. We know you.
Yeah.
We knew you though before.
Yeah, right?
Anyway.
Yeah. That old man that wanted to sell the movie theater. Jinkies. Well, let me pull up Instagram because our buddy Anna sent me a message in response to the conversation that you and I had on the show about idealist versus pragmatic.
Oh.
Yeah, so kind of getting back into a little bit of the Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
But
that was a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah. So he put in a really interesting reply. So he lives in Scandinavia, Sweden, from what I remember. And so here's what he said. Quick take. The show where you compare cars to politics, idealist versus pragmatic. Couldn't a reason for why you, Ian, and Americans see it that way is because neoliberalism is the dominating political force in terms of real-world applications. And a lot of this gets beyond me. Therefore, anyone who leans either left or right from that cone, anyone who leans left or right from that will come across as an idealist. It's much harder to envision something that isn't than something that is.
Okay, so my first thought about that is that I'm not 100% on what neoliberalism means because, especially in context of United States politics,
right? Because
for the last few years now, it seems like if I don't like you, I call you a neoliberal.
Okay.
There doesn't seem to be a good. I think I know what it's supposed to mean.
Okay.
But in U.S. politics, that term has been pretty abused.
Okay.
I think I'm probably a neoliberal, I guess, but I think I probably misstated some of that because I did think about that discussion afterwards a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
And I think I was trying to hammer it into cars a little bit.
Okay.
But I was trying to talk more about like reactionary politics versus more focused on current day politics. But yeah. I don't know. That conversation was a mess. So yeah, I'll whatever.
Well, he goes on to say that he grew up in a social democrat, social liberal society, and his gut reaction is that neoliberalism is very unpragmatic and idealist in of itself. Simplified, I'd say my impression of neoliberals is that they are dreamers believing in an invisible hand that comes to sort everything out. Poverty, free market will sort it out. Crime, free market. So this isn't me saying anything about ideology. More that the idea of what is pragmatic is impossible to judge without bias. Anyway, good show as always. His brother bought a Saab 9.5 with a broken clutch. And he's in an industrial economy class in college. They use Saab as an example of how not to run the company.
Fantastic.
That's also, this is the best part, and I'm so thankful that you sent us this, Hannes. He says he might be going on a tour of the Haldex factory, so he wants you to let him know if you need some parts.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can just get a whole rear end for me, that'd be fantastic.
How about two?
Yeah.
Right?
Steal couple. No, but so to the second point.
Yeah.
So to me, pragmatism means that, and I think what neoliberalism means in that context, what he's trying to talk about, is the idea of like examining your situation and examining past outcomes and applying policies based on that. So I think the other, what's the other, technocrat. Okay. So like technocratic, I think, is what he's kind of describing. And, and I think that gets lumped in with the neoliberalism label sometimes, and it gets kind of a bum rap. Okay. I think I tend to lean probably more technocratic.
Can you give me a rough idea of what that is? I'm sorry,
technocratic is basically like you're not necessarily driven by an ideology of like what government's relationship to its people should necessarily be. Okay. And you're very focused on process and policy and competence. So it's
gotcha. Okay.
It's more about all the stuff that all the sausage making that you saw on The Wire or whatever of like, well, this is why we did X, Y, and Z back in the day, but here's why it's not a good solution now. Okay. So you can kind of it kind of allow it's when it's done correctly, when it's done right. It allows the idea is that it allows you to kind of pick and choose from good answers along the ideological spectrum. Okay. Where it falls down, the example that everyone uses would be like Obama and Syria. Okay. Where there was just like he was just doing mechanical things and there was no like overriding principle to it. Okay. And so that's a famous example of from the last few years. Okay. And that's a legit criticism of it. Sure. And the left is very down on that whole idea right now. Okay. In the U.S. especially. So. Anyway. Okay. Car show.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but I really appreciate your response on us, and yes, please send. Do you just want to PayPal or Venmo him a bunch of money now for Haldex parts?
Probably. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I wonder what the Haldex factory's like. That's got to be cool, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
I don't know. We want to hear about that. Broken and. I always hear that like Haldexes are supposed to be super like bulletproof and super reliable. I have had 2 cars and
each
2 cars with a bunch of
Haldex
problems.
Failures.
One of which more than the other, but
right. Whatever. Ian,
let's move on.
Okay. But anyway, thank you, Hannes. I love that message. And a lot of it was beyond me. Let's see here. So, Ian,
Yes.
I have garage updates.
Yes, you do, which I am very excited to talk about.
But first, I want to talk about another listener message that they sent to us. The email from Harley.
Yes.
So yeah, let me pull that up. Harley wants you. So thank you for sending us this email, Harley. Harley wants you to buy a BMW.
Yeah. Harley wants me to get divorced. I think is what is really going on here. So he sent us Harley sent us this pretty boss looking 2003 540i wagon.
Right.
Really it's really pretty cool, you know.
Auto transmission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here are the problems with this. That's not it, but
right. This
because it has
not the one
has
for
the better
sale.
has the better like double 5-spoke.
Yeah, this is
wheels.
like the he sent us the one that's the M package version.
Right.
But yeah, but
it's
you
an
get
M
the
package.
idea. Yeah.
It's not 4-wheel drive,
Right.
which is an issue for us. And also it's actually older than the car that I'm trying to replace. And the whole idea here is that I'm supposed to be getting a reliable car.
So I obviously this is a fantastic car, but it would be a horrible choice for you.
It would be.
There is no way you're ever going to. So basically, what you have done is you made a bad first move with the Saab Turbo X, right? When you stake that flag in the sand, right? You can only go up in year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up in reliability,
Yeah.
up in like accoutrements, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that, up in features. What you should have done was put your pregnant wife 4 years ago on a unicycle from 1963 and just shoved her down Spear.
Right.
Right?
It's only going to get better from
Right?
there.
Because then a smart, like a Hayabusa swap smart car is now a viable candidate.
Yeah. No,
right?
that's true.
It's all about perspective, Ian.
On the plus side, there's really not much place to go for as far as reliability is concerned other than up. Unless I get a Range Rover Classic that's about, or like an old Jag, that's about all I could do to make it worse.
Would you, what do you think? I mean, so your Saab is a 2008, right?
Uh-huh.
A BMW V8 that's 5 years older.
No, that's a terrible idea.
Because do you think that's more or less reliable than your Saab?
It's probably running more often, but when it breaks, it'll be catastrophic.
I think you're right.
At least mine, with our thing, it's mostly piddly shit.
Right.
It's just constant
Right.
piddly shit.
Right.
Constant.
Yeah.
All the time.
Like, what's the most
Make it
recent thing?
stop.
What's the most recent thing? I mean,
it was the fuel pump.
Okay.
The fuel pump.
Yeah.
But that was just a couple of weeks ago.
So so
We just did that.
well, so I want to talk to you about this, but because you let me borrow your car, right?
I did, which I am anxious to. This is all I've wanted to talk about all night.
I know. I've been basically holding you hostage. But okay, so when I talked to your wife about the Saab, I said, she said something. Oh, I need to get gas, right? Because
So let me set the table. So I was out of town
Yeah.
for work.
yeah,
And Dave, you needed to borrow my car, which we're going to get into in a second.
yeah,
So before you tell this story, today we were in the car and we got in to go run errands. We're in the Saab. We get in and I said something about, I was like trying to get the seat in the right position or something. And she goes, "Yeah, but you got gas, right? Look at all that gas you got." And I was like, "Oh wow, you filled it." And she was like, "Dave yelled at me."
I didn't yell at her. So what I wanted to know, knowing you, I said, so, well, your wife Jenny said something along the lines of, I need to get gas, and Ian told me, that I shouldn't run it, low, but such and such, she forgot or something like that, right? And I said, I was like, oh, let's get into how this sausage is made, right? Let's dissect this relationship dynamic, all right? And I got like my high school biology rubber lined tray out and put the frog of your relationship on it and was like, let's get to town. Where's the cloaca?
Oh, God.
I said I said, where's the Cloacas, the episode title? I said, did Ian tell you why you shouldn't run the gas so low? And because I want to know your justification, the thing that you told her, right? Do you remember what you told her as to why she shouldn't run the gas so low?
Yeah, because I repeat this constantly.
Okay, why is that? What's your justification for it?
Her whole thing is that car is unreliable.
Okay.
So my thing is, you're driving yourself and our child around in a car that you think you will at some point be stranded in.
Right.
You should probably have enough gas to keep you guys warm.
Right. Right.
At the very least.
Yep.
At the very least.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why I tell her
until rescue squad shows up.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's a good reason. I told her, I said, the fuel pump sits inside gas. And when there's no gas, the fuel pump gets hot because the gas is what keeps the fuel pump cool.
Yep.
And so it's if you keep running it when it's low, your fuel pump will die.
Yes.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with that is that like mechanical explanations just don't land with her.
Mechanical explanations from you, because what happened when you came home? You had gas in the Saab.
I had gas in the Saab, but I am also guessing that she was just out of gas. She was probably just legit out of gas.
I don't know,
but whatever. Anyway,
I don't know.
But obviously you're right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But my main concern is
no, I get it. Yeah. Her and your son staying alive.
Yeah.
Staying alive.
Exactly.
Did you ever hear that thing about doing CPR on somebody? That you should do it.
Staying alive, yeah.
To 90 beats per minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the perfect frequency to give somebody CPR. Isn't that fantastic? And the song is Staying Alive. It's not like Piano Man.
Piano Man. That would be terrible.
Or We Didn't Start the Fire.
Yeah.
Right? Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China Cherry. What did you do to this person?
Are we going to talk about you borrowing my car? What happened to your car, first of all?
So, Ian.
Do we need this up?
No, we don't. All right.
I'm going to point more at the screen.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't control it with the mouse on my laptop. So, Ian.
Yes.
We're going to talk about my Infinity real quick first. All right?
Please do.
Okay, so my old man Infinity got a leaky bladder. It sprung a leak. Okay?
Yeah, what was it?
Power steering fluid.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So I had a power steering hose leak, and okay. So I first noticed it spotting on my girlfriend's driveway. As you can imagine, the driveway of a Lexus owner is fucking clean until this idiot shows up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I'm the guy that's leaking on your driveway, right? That is upsetting to me, right? It's my driveway. There's a Saab parked in it. It's leaking right now, right? You
There's
can't
an Exxon Valdez out there.
Yeah, you can't get worse than that, right? But her driveway, perfect. Anyway, thankfully, power steering fluid does seep into concrete really quick, and it's gone now.
Oh, that's
right?
good.
Yeah, and she threw some degreaser on it. I love you, honey. So anyway, her driveway's clean now, but power steering leak, and I got underneath the car, I pulled the plastic shield off the bottom, and I could see that it was leaking bad enough that it was blowing in the fan and getting pushed back into the car, into other areas, because at first I thought it was so bad that I thought I had actually cracked my oil pan.
Yeah.
Right? A fair amount of oil had come out, right? And I checked my oil and the level was good. And so then I glanced over at my power steering reservoir and it was empty.
Yeah.
There's like just a tiny, it wasn't at the point where it was groaning or anything like that. But it was obviously that was what was leaking. So I got underneath it, started pulling it apart. Saw that like power steering fluid had basically been blowing back. And one of the things that it was kind of getting caught on was the oil pan, and it was traversing along the side where the drain plug is.
Yeah.
And so I thought like maybe I'd cracked the pan over tightening the lug nut again, because I've actually done that before in the Saab, and that's the whole thing. And so once I figured that it was power steering fluid, and I took it to the mechanic, right?
Yeah.
And so unfortunately my mechanic, it took them a while to get the part, and I needed to drive, and so they kind of put me in a bad spot, which necessitated me borrowing your car, and I appreciate that very much, you borrowing my car. My first question for you is, well, all said and done, right? I got my car back. Right, I had them do a bunch of other shit while they were in there because it's about to hit 120,000 miles. So I had them do trans fluid. They did a cooling system pressure check.
Oh, good.
And spark plugs, stuff like that. The spark plug interval for the Infinity. Guess what the spark plug interval is?
100,000 miles.
Close, but no. 105,000 miles.
What?
Why the fuck would you make it 105,000 miles, right?
That's weird.
Some engineer was like, nope, 106, you're fucked.
That's strange.
Right? Yeah.
It's weird.
So, anyway, plus I don't like having spark plugs that go that long.
Yeah, maybe they were trying to space big maintenances out. So
I don't know.
No, that's weird.
Right? So I had them do that, and the main reason I had them do spark plugs is because the last two, like cylinders 4 and 8,
they're just hard to get to.
Oh Jesus,
Yeah.
I don't have enough wobble sockets to get to it. Or the patience.
Yeah.
So
I mean that's how the rear bank of the Saab is too. You
Right?
can't get to any of that.
Yeah. So so I had them do that, and it was a little bit harder pill to swallow financially than I wanted it to be, but it's all said and done. It's tight and dry and running well.
Nice.
Running really well right
Good.
now.
Did you notice a big difference with the transmission flush?
No, because I had it done. I think they did it before I bought the car.
Oh, okay.
And Infinity did Mike Ward down in Littleton did a pre-sales inspection for me, where they pulled the fluid from both the transmission and the rear diff to just check it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that was good. The funny thing is that the mechanic did is the guy was just kind of running through stuff. So transmission flush and fill and front and rear differential, and I was like front and rear differential, and he goes, yeah, on these cars you need to change the fluid in the front and rear differential. It's that thing where they're talking to you and they don't know that you know everything about the fucking car, right?
And they're just reading a checklist.
Right, exactly. And I was like, well, if you want to do the front differential, that's perfectly fine. And if you can find it, you're more than happy to run the fluid in it. And he was change the fluid in it, and he was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, it's rear-wheel drive. Like there is an all-wheel drive model, but this is rear-wheel drive. There is no front differential. Yeah. Do you know what's differential? Me. Yeah. It's like, if you can find it, you can change it, Anthony. Anyway, but the mechanic gave me some good feedback about the car. He was like, I really like this. This is a really interesting car. And so it was nice to kind of finally get that mechanic.
Yeah.
Because I've taken this kind of car around, and you'd think you'd want somebody to kind of notice it or say something about it.
Right.
Because there's not a lot of these running around, and this is a different version than what you normally see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And obviously I take good care of it. So yeah. So anyway, it's running well. The invisible front differential has been flushed. And but my big question for you is, did you find the thing I fixed in your car?
No, but Nico said something to me about it too. He was like, did Mr. Dave fix something for you? I was like, I don't know. But also I haven't been in it very much. So
I did fix something, and I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Come on, really?
Nope. No.
Is it something that I would have noticed it was broken?
Yeah.
Is it on the interior of my car?
I'm not going to tell you.
Come on. Are you serious?
Listeners, should I tell them?
Because I was going through the things I know to be broken on my car.
Okay. All right.
And I don't think it was any of them.
Okay. It was a very cheap fix. I'll give you that. I happen to have the necessary supplies on hand.
A fix?
Yeah.
It was for something that was broken?
Yeah. A fix. Yeah.
Here are my known problems with the car.
Okay.
I know that my unlock button does not work on my key fob.
Thanks for telling me.
that does not work.
Yeah. Time to go snowboarding again and fall in the fob.
Right. I know,
Yeah.
because that's how it got fixed last time.
So it got fixed last time.
I don't know why it doesn't work. I have no idea. I just changed the battery. The backlighting for my stereo goes out when you go over bumps sometimes. And that is 100% my fault. Because I did the wiring and it connects to my headlight switch, and so you wiggle the headlight switch to fix it. The problem is, and I know it would take me 10 minutes to fix it. It really would. But I only am thinking about it when I'm driving my car at night.
Right.
And I'm not going to like do it at night when I get home on the street.
Right.
So it just doesn't get done.
I will say the crux of automotive ownership is persistence for issues exactly like that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Being able to consistently stay on top of small issues like that are it is simple. It would only take 10 minutes, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
Owning an older car, there is a huge difference between doing that kind of stuff and not doing that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I do most of those sorts of stuff.
Respect for anybody who does it all.
I don't do it all.
Yeah.
And there's like a little thing in the little coin tray in the back, that the little plastic thing that holds it up broke off a while back.
Yeah, I didn't fix that.
I know.
I did vacuum up a fuck ton of fruit snacks off of the out of the car.
That happened literally so we got back. It was when I took Nico skiing for the first time.
Okay.
And he was, oh my God,
he got wiped out, huh?
Dead on his feet. I've never seen a 3-year-old fall asleep standing up until then. He literally fell asleep.
Was he just napping as he was pizzaing down the slope?
Oh my God, he was so tired. It was amazing.
Nice.
But so I got him out of the car, and he just jumped fruit snacks as I was unpacking the car.
Right.
And then I left for the airport the next day.
Right.
So I just didn't have time to clean him up.
Yeah.
So that happened.
Guess who did, motherfucker?
And I really do appreciate you cleaning the interior of the car, because it was horrendous.
I actually like not like our buddy GTP Johnny does. He does amazing work.
Right. He's a detailer.
Right. Yeah. And a good one. I just enjoy vacuuming and trying to clean up a car. Yeah.
Come on over whenever you like.
It's kind of therapeutic. It feels good. Yeah.
But let me tell you my state of mind right now.
Okay.
I recently had a bunch of home repairs done. You know this, right?
I do.
I had a contractor come over, and he had to inspect some of the house. And he, in the course of doing so, happened to see a thing that I did in a feeble attempt to improve my home. And he yelled at me for my shoddy workmanship.
You fucked this up, man. When you have a contractor owner over, you never claim ownership for work that's done.
Yeah, I know.
They don't know. They don't know.
Now I know. I know now that the correct answer is that former owner was a moron.
Son, I am disappointed.
But okay. But the feeling that I had when I started getting yelled at, that's what I feel like in anticipation of you telling me what it was like to drive my car around. I feel like you're going to be incredibly disappointed in me for how terrible my car is.
So we are going to talk about it in our next episode.
Come on.
But we're at an hour 10 already.
Oh.
Okay? But I will tell you, I'm not disappointed.
Oh, okay.
In your car.
Okay.
Okay?
Did you enjoy it?
I'm not telling you anything else.
God, can you tell me what you fixed?
No. Cliffhanger.
Oh.
You're going to have to wait until next episode, buddy. You will.
God damn it.
Yeah. Ian, I have an FMK cars for you.
Okay.
Yesterday it snowed.
Uh-huh.
Did you play in the snow?
No.
Why not?
I didn't have time.
Oh.
I didn't get to.
My girlfriend and I took a lovely walk. It was fantastic. The snow was wonderful.
Yeah, I took Nico for walks, but that was it.
Ian.
Yeah.
In this FMK cars, you live in Finland.
Okay.
It snows all the time.
Awesome.
These are the cars you have to drive everywhere.
Oh.
Okay? First up, Ian.
Uh-huh.
A Nissan pickup truck.
Okay.
Let's give you a 1998.
Mm-hmm.
No, 88. 88.
Okay.
All right. That was my first car. So you can probably hack into all my accounts if you know my passwords. All right. Let's see here. Yep, this is like it right here. All right. Yep, view image. Zoom and enhance, right? I'll give you just the standard cab. You don't need the King cab, all right?
It's like a picture of like a Yeti walking through the
right, right. But
I spotted the rare elusive Nissan pickup.
The Nissan hardbody.
Yeah.
So in this one, what I'm going to do, it's just a little 2-wheel drive pick 'em up truck like I had, right?
Yeah.
All vinyl interior, bench seat, all right?
I like it.
4-speed transmission, but what I'm giving you, Ian, is we're going to red top swap that Mammer Jammer with a Sylvia 2-liter engine.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right? Imagine the snow drifts you could pull.
Yeah.
And I actually did this one time when I had the pickup truck.
And I'm allowed snow tires and everything?
You're allowed anything you
All right.
want.
All
But if you want to drift, put some Space Saver spares on the back and go for it.
Yeah.
But one time I was caught when I was going to college. A massive snowstorm hit while I was at school.
Uh-huh.
And I had to drive, I drove 40 minutes to get home. What I did is I took all this, and I didn't have the weights in the back of my truck. I took all the snow off of the car and the cars around me and piled that into the bed of the truck for extra weight, right? So if you want to get somewhere, you can do that.
Smart.
Okay?
Okay.
Up next, right? This is all just berserker cars for snow drifting, okay? All right? Let's see here. Up next, I'm going to give you a Busa swapped smart car.
Yes. Sweet.
Yeah.
We all know what a smart car looks like.
Yeah, right? Yeah. All right. So, all right. That's a donut machine. All right?
Yeah.
And
tiny wheelbase.
Yeah. And then lastly, I will give you I saw this and I could not stop thinking about how great you would look just slowly drifting through the snow in this car. Aston Martin.
Uh-huh.
Vantage.
Uh-huh.
V8.
Okay. Vantage. I like it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I think that's as easy.
Okay.
I'm going to crush the smart car with a Hayabusa.
Really?
I think on dry pavement, that would be a blast. In the snow, that would just be unworkable.
Okay.
I will marry the V8 Vantage.
Okay.
And I will, for a day, drive the Nissan and do drift truck drifts everywhere.
Nice, buddy. Nice. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Ian.
What would you do there?
I would definitely marry the Nissan, right?
Yeah.
The turbo swap Nissan. That'd be fantastic.
That would be fun.
Right? And then for a day, the Aston.
Oh, no, that's the right way to do it. You're
Is it?
right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Then marry the F the Aston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then that means I'd have to kill the Busa. Ian, we need to wrap up the show.
Let's do it.
People have been blathering on. People have been listening to us blather along for far too long.
I agree.
Ian.
Yeah.
We have an announcement to make.
Oh, we do?
We do, because, Ian, we have done something on the internet.
We have. Aside from yell at people.
If you like us or you hate watch us, target demographic, whatever,
if you hate us, even better. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
I have a thought for
you can buy something on our TeamClearCoat web store.
That's true.
We
need to get Sean Hannity to get offended by us.
Yeah.
And then people could buy these and smash them.
There you go, right?
That's what we need to do.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Are you listening, Hannity? Probably not.
You potato head idiot.
Ian.
Yeah.
All right. So people can go on our Twitter page and probably our website and find a link to our store.
Yes.
Right?
And on our Facebook page and all the other places.
Awesome.
Yes. Do that.
Do that. And so that's what you should do. Rate and review us on rate and review us on iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
Do that.
Do the YouTube things.
Yep.
And TeamClearCoat.com for everything else.
That's right. Ian?
Yes.
Cliffhanger, buddy.
I know.
All
it's
right.
killing me.
I love you, man.
Love you too. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, God, I have to pee.